Alright, we're back for our last segment. This is the flips and floateo segment. In this segment, we're going to be focusing on tricks that take off and complete. So in the kick segment, we focus on tricks that landed and complete. This one is the opposite for takeoff. So now, let's start with our two basic flips from complete. We have the Volta Ao Mundo from Capoeira terminology, and then we have it in English called like Swing Macaco, Gainer Cartwheel, Valdez. It has a lot of names. So here you start. We're always going to be doing our backside fake to set up into our complete movements. You could also spin around with a giro into it, so it's going to be one of those two. Alright, so here starting from our backside fake, you're going to go into your complete position. Boom, you're swinging that leg up and you're going to cartwheel. So here, boom. That's the Volta Ao Mundo. When you spam it together and do like a chain of them, that's when it really gets that name, Volta Ao Mundo. It's like going around the world. So here, boom, boom, boom. So when I did that, I also turned, which is why it also gets that nickname. So to start off for that movement, what we're going to do, start your backside fake, but instead of pulling this leg back to do a queixada, you're going to pull that leg into the air, hold it up high. Super important when you take off from complete is that your leg swings up all the way first before you do anything. So from here, I'm going to pivot and then cartwheel. Alright? That's our basic way to get into Volta Ao Mundo. So here, backside fake, pivot into your cartwheel. Other side, pivot into your cartwheel. So let's spam that on both sides. Let's do 10 on both sides. So actually we did not do cartwheels first as warm up. So before anything happens, let's warm that up first, because this is a cartwheel variation. So let's do 5 cartwheels on the left and 5 cartwheels on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can do any kind of cartwheel, doesn't matter, as long as you're tick-tocking your body over from one side of your hands to the other. So now combining it into our Volta Ao Mundo, you could theoretically put all those variations into your Volta Ao Mundo as well. So that's cool. But anyway, here, set up backside and swing that leg over. Alright? Remember, most importantly again, is that your leg swings up all the way before you pivot or before you take off the ground. Okay? So here, let's go 5 on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. That's our basic Volta Ao Mundo. But we're going to work on bringing that up into the air more slowly with some progressions to bring it to its Voador equivalent. So here, the way that goes, I'm going to start the same way, but I'm just going to do a giro and then hop onto my foot. So let's just try that part first. A few times. Let's do 5 on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you land on your toes. 5, 6. Step up those feet. 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is obviously not the move we're looking for. Actually, the move we're looking for looks like this. Here, you want to try to flip pretty much all the way over. In capoeira, this is called folha seca. In tricking or in English terminology, has a lot of names as well. It has cheat gainer, slant gainer, gainer flash, boomerang, kick the moon, moon kick. There's a lot of names for this movement itself. But I like calling it a boomerang. So we're going to do this boomerang on both sides. And before we get all the way into our boomerang more, one last thing we need to smooth out, just like we did with Volta Ao Mundo, is make sure we swing our leg up. From here, I'm going to pivot my foot into scale like we did in conditioning. Boom. And then I'm going to switch my legs. So basically, I go from lunge, and then this doesn't really have a name, but I guess it kind of does. A flamingo. It's the opposite of the eagle. It's a flamingo. I didn't make it up, but it does work, I guess, for understanding. So flamingo, and then you're going to pivot into a scale, and then you're going to land on a scale again. And when you make that go faster through those 1, 2, 3, 4 motions, you basically get a boomerang. Boom. And then eventually you just swing your leg harder, and the pivot happens in the air, and then you have like a really inverted boomerang to the point where it's like basically swinging your leg into a flash kick. And a flash kick is a backflip where you kick your leg out of it. So here, let's get into 5 on both sides using that drill, the 4 steps. So you're going to go lunge, boom, go through all 4 of those. 5 times on both sides. So here, boom, boom, boom. Other side, swing, pivot, scale, scale. And then again. Good. What number is that? 3, 4? I don't know. Let's just do a few more. I don't think 10 is necessary when we're going this slow. I'm going to do 10 when we're going faster. Swing up. Boom. 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 Alright. Cool. Now let's get a little bit faster. Try to swing it with some momentum. Again, just like in the kicks, when we're going all the way around the side with our mea lua or our round kick, don't worry about the form too much, because the more you practice those initial steps, like lunge, swing to flamingo, pivot to scale, and scale again, training that is going to clean up the technique more than worrying too much about the form so you don't practice it does. So really you should be practicing the steps with the move at the same time so that you get the best of both worlds. So now 5 on both sides from that backside fake. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you're landing on your toes, trying to get to that scale. Not a perfect scale, of course, but we're just getting, boom, your scale could have your leg bent. Totally fine. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's basically the lowest and the highest way that we could get into our flips for a complete takeoff. You can also add in levels in between, where you're using one hand, where you're jumping out of it, or you're jumping into it. So for example, I could go here on one hand. It's like a one-handed Volta Ao Mundo, or gainer cartwheel, Swing Macaco, whatever. And then you could also go where you jump onto your hands. That might happen more if you're trying to save yourself from doing a row one, like up high. So what else? You can use this takeoff to variate it. So instead of landing in hyper, which is the way we're landing on a normal cartwheel, you can land in complete, like we do with the scoot, or we did in the kicks segment with a complete landing. So you can go up, boom, and then step out of it like that. So I basically land on the same leg that I jumped off of. You can do that with 2 hands, you can do that with 1. So there's a lot of variations that we can do once we have that foundation drilled into our muscle memory. Most importantly is, if we're not getting all the drilling done while you're watching this video, you can always set up your tricks for drilling the same way you would do it at a fitness gym. So instead of doing like a couple and just trying it, you know, we've been doing 10, but you could treat those 10 as 10 reps in one set, just like you would for like dumbbell practice or pull-ups. So that's why I don't know, I feel like it's really advantageous and it's really helpful to be using sets and reps to drill your tricks, especially your foundation, to make a strong, well-rounded practice. So that wraps up our flip segment. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And the last thing we have is our complete challenge. All right. And I don't want to forget, I want to shout out to all my patrons that are supporting this journey through the Voador curriculum and the program. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for the next bit.